Hey guys, how you doing? This is Mark from marknicholasmusic.com, and today we are going to expand on our music theory knowledge from the last lesson. I will provide a link to my previous video, hopefully right over here somewhere. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about making basic triads, and I'm going to make this extremely easy for you. We're just going to make triads. A triad is a chord. A chord is something you play on any instrument, such as a guitar or a piano. And what you're going to realize and learn is that when you're playing these chords, what you think are very complicated 6-string chords, most of the time you're only playing 3 notes repeated and in different patterns. So go ahead and check it out, pay attention. I suggest you get a notebook out and write this stuff down. And I'll say it again later, but make sure you subscribe to keep up to date. We've got a lot of stuff coming. Our notes only go from A through G. And there's a sharp in between, except in the case of B and E. So in other words, every note from A to G will have a corresponding sharp, except B and E. So if you want, we could rewrite this. So we have A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp. Hopefully you can see all of that. And what it should show you here is that B goes to C, E goes to F. If you have your guitar, you play any single note, any single string. If you play open string, and you go up to the first fret, whatever that open string is, you're going to go to the next note. So if you play your open E, you have 2 open E's, the first fret is an F, okay? And it continues on that way. If you play your open A string, the first fret is an A sharp. So your first fret being A sharp, your second fret is B, your third fret is C, C sharp D, D sharp E, and it continues on like that. That's all there is to it. People make it out to be extremely complicated. It is very complicated. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's much easier than a lot of people let it be, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about chords, how to make chords and their purpose. And like I said, my goal here is to make this extremely easy. People make this extremely difficult, and we want to simplify that. The first part's actually going to be the most complicated, and what we're going to talk about is the basic formation of a chord, otherwise known as a triad. A triad, obviously, tri means 3 different notes, so we're going to talk about triads. You have your basics are going to be your major and your minor are going to be your basic triads, and that's pretty much everything you play. When you play a G chord on your guitar, you're essentially playing 3 different notes across the 6 strings on your guitar. I will repeat that. When you play a G chord on your guitar, you're only playing 3 notes. Yes, you're strumming 6 strings. You're only playing 3 notes. So how it works is like this. A major triad, you have a root note, you have a major third, and then you have a perfect 5th. Your mind's blown already, right? Let's fix that. So we'll talk about intervals as well. So a major triad is a root note. We'll pick A because it's right there. A major third, okay? Now a major third is going to be take your root note and you want to add 4 to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So a major third is added 4. It's always based on the root. So whenever you're making a chord, if you're talking about simply making a chord, you're only worried about the root note and adding on to that. A perfect 5th, now for guitar players, if you play power chords, you're using a perfect 5th. You're using a root, a perfect 5th, and an octave. So if you're comfortable with the notes on your guitar, you can quickly figure out what the perfect 5th is by wherever your ring or your pinky ends up in your power chord. Otherwise, from A, it's to E. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's plus 7. So let's write that down. Now, if you write this down and you have this in front of you, I'm telling you right now, you can make any chord up using music theory. I'm not saying you can go play it on your guitar just yet, but this is what I always use. If I wanted to figure out how to make a chord, yes, as guitar players, we learn all these simple box positions on how to play a chord, such as an A major chord. So yes, you can tell me right now, I already know how to play A because my guitar teacher told me to place my index finger across the second fret of 3 strings and just lay it there and strum it, and that's an A, and that is correct. That is an A chord. But theory-wise, all you're playing is an A, a C sharp, and an E, and it's repeated. And if you want to improve your guitar playing, it's going to be best for you to learn this, apply it to the guitar, because then you figure out that later on you can actually go up the frets. You can go all the way up to the 24th fret and be playing formations or notes based on the notes in the chord once you learn these triads. So simply put, if you want to be a great lead guitar player, are you going to play the exact same thing as your rhythm guitar player? No, you want to be able to complement them, and how you do that is learn these notes, learn how a chord is made up, and play it in a different location, arpeggiate it, play it in a different form. You can arpeggiate forward and backward. You can do all sorts of things with just knowing these notes all across your guitar. But for right now, let's drill these simple things into your head. Alright, so thus far we have a triad, we have a major triad. We've learned that we need a root, which the root is easy. You're telling yourself what chord you want to make it. You only need to figure out 2 extra notes. If your chord is a G, you have the root already. It's G. Simple. In the case of a major triad, have this in front of you. I keep this with me. I always draw this out, this A through G sharp. I always keep that in front of me because it's like a cheat sheet. And what you do, you figure out the major third, which is plus 4 from the root. I hate to make it stupid, but you don't include the root. You don't go 1, you go plus 1, 2, 3, 4. The perfect fifth is plus 7 from the root. So next, let's talk minor. Again, you need a root. Done. You only need 2 more things. Now this is where it's fun. Once you learn the major, it's extremely easy to figure out the minor. But you need a minor third. And you also need a perfect fifth. So I hope some of you out there are going, oh wow, I know how to get the perfect fifth, because it's true. You already know that. So we're going to actually simplify this real quick. So a minor third is plus 3 from the root. So guess what? If we're talking A minor, if that was plus 4, you minus 1, now it's only plus 3. 1, 2, 3, you have a C. We already got our perfect fifth earlier, it was an E. Which leads me to my next example. If you can make a major chord, all you have to do is reduce the third, go back 1/2 step, and you're at a minor chord. And that's it. So guys, that's going to conclude our lesson on building a triad. I always advise that you write this stuff down, or just replay the video over and over again and write down as you go. It's always good to keep it with you, take it with you. This way you don't have to be at a place where you have access to the internet or YouTube. And make sure you subscribe, because the next video is actually going to be about expanding on the chords. This one was just about making a basic triad, major and minor. And the next video is actually going to be adding notes. We're going to be adding seconds, ninths, fourths. We're going to do all kinds of cool stuff like that. So just make sure you subscribe. If you're on a desktop, I'm going to go ahead and put the link right here. And if you're on a mobile device, look for the red button that says subscribe, and make sure that you do that. This way you get all the notifications and you get to keep up to date with all the content that I'm going to be providing. And it's going to come very fast, and I want to make sure you're updated, and I want to make sure you're up to speed at all times. Thank you for watching.